Oh my God, what did I just watch? Because my brother in Christ, that episode of Peacemaker was insane, and that cliffhanger was even more insane. James Francis Gunn Jr. don't miss, because he just gun loaded the clip on us. But also, James, you're gonna be paying for my therapy bills. Because so much happened in this episode of Peacemaker, even though it was only 35 minutes long. So much drama, action, twists and turns, crazy cameos and reveals, and it almost got me to shed a tear. But if you couldn't already tell, I just got done watching episode 7 of Peacemaker Season 2, and I'm gonna be recapping and reviewing the episode in a spoiler manner, so if you're not trying to be spoiled, make sure you drop a like and follow, but come back later because I do want to hear your thoughts. But either way, me and you know what we gotta do. We gotta talk about it. K. Crazy screenshot, I know, but we pick up this episode immediately where the last one ended off with them realizing that they're in Earth X, a universe where the Nazis won World War II. But this gag right here had me weak as fuck when she said, you didn't notice the big fucking mustache man mural over here? Proving that not only did Chris's privilege get in the way, but he let being on cloud 9 for him cloud his judgment. I love how he immediately tells the other Amelia Harcourt, like, hey, we're breaking up, sorry, peace. Peace, get it? Then they beat the shit out of some Argus agents, and you can tell that kind of turns each other on. And I'm liking it. Hell, I might love it. That's when we pick up with my last two brain cells and Vigilante Squared, having a conversation about their two different universes and why this one is so dangerous and why he joined the Sons of Liberty. Vigilante 1 tells Vigilante 2 that he came here with Adebayo, who is a black woman. He's like, oh my God, we gotta go find your friend because she's in trouble, girl. And simultaneously, Economos is tied up by Augie, who asks Economos who else he came to this universe with, and he's doing a terrible job lying. I never taught you to lie. That's why you're so bad at it. But the Augie of this universe is like suspiciously reasonable. More on that in a second. Because we pick back up with Adebayo, who's getting her Tom Cruise on. Like, damn, you can't even see her arms. They're that much of a blur. She put her Converse on like Benny the Jet Rodriguez and ran away from the beast. That is until she jumps into a pool, and at first I was like, girl, what you doing? Why you jumping in the pool? Run around the pool. It turns out as she swims to the edge of the pool, Judo Master extends his hand like the hand of God. And I'm not gonna hold you, I'm out of cheer. Minorities working together. Oh, I love it. He pulls her out of the water and immediately deep fries all them Yahtzees. Why it smell like fish stick in here? As it looks like he's screaming, I beat you. I'm never not gonna remember this shot of a fucking croc with a Yahtzee symbol on. Now y'all gotta wipe yourselves off, man. You fried. But if you're wondering where Keith was, he stopped chasing Adebayo because his dad called him and said, what I have is more important. He begins to tell him everything that Economos told him, even including the fact that Chris 1 killed Chris 2. And of course, Keith is pissed off because you killed my brother. You took him from me, Carmine. That was today. And while all that is happening, Economos is trying to get Eagly to untie him. And of course, it's just like the scene from Guardians 2, where they try to get Baby Groot to bring him the fin. And he brings him a piece of string. He's like, why would I need a piece of string, Eagly? That doesn't deserve a goddamn salute. While these two plan to suit up and go chase down Chris and the other hardcore, who, yes, is wearing pants, unfortunately. Or fortunately. Don't forget she took that big ass shit. Meanwhile, Judo Master takes Adebayo to this house that he broke into and is staying at because it has the most snacks, including Cheetos with an OH at the end, I think. He said these ones are kind of dog shit. You want to know why? It's because no minorities are working in those Cheeto factories. Think about it, hero. But he tells Adebayo that this is a world where the Nazis won World War II because he's been reading all of the history books behind on that shelf. They decide to play Scrabble together. Scrabble? That's when we pick back up with Peacemaker and Harcourt in a high-speed chase and also in a Claritin commercial. It's got to be the most romantic scene that they've ever had together because really, they're having a moment here. She puts her head on the back of his neck. He's like, then they decide to hold hands together. Well, oh shit, it's the cops. It's 5-0. It's 12. As they end up getting cornered and surrounded by like 15 cops. Out of nowhere, a bunch of Michael Bay level explosions start blowing the shit up out of these cops. We see that it's the top duo, quite literally on top, who killed all these cops. And you can tell Keith is just like itching to attack Peacemaker. But again, Augie is keeping him in check and also suspiciously reasonable. As I love the fact that they got Robert Patrick to be the one that says, come with me if you want to live, except they kind of butchered it. They did a little Uncle Ben from TASM. Not choice, responsibility. Type joint. When he said, if you want to live, come with me. Because he's in Terminator 2, if y'all don't know that. That's when we find out Sydney was that surprise cameo that Rick Flag Sr. and Sacha Bordeaux went to go see. Lex Luthor's right-hand man. And speaking of Lex Luthor, turns out all the technology they need to track down this portal, the QUC, is in this confiscated Luthor Corp building spaceship. I don't know what we want to call it. It's kind of like one of them cars that can turn into a boat. We get a weird scene where he's like, why would I do what I want you to do? He's like, Lex told you to. He's like, all right. But side note, this motherfucker smiling over here, I don't trust it. And no, it's not the Joker. Shut your mouth. But the other mustache man, funny enough, they do that shit on purpose. It actually reveals that Peacemaker's QUC portal is stable. Like there's nothing wrong with it compared to what Lex Luthor had, in that they could only use it for a certain amount of time before it would start ripping. So that right there in and of itself is very interesting. Then Rick Flag Sr. says, you know what, Sydney, we might just keep you around. I kind of like you. Which to me is setting up some major things for Man of Tomorrow, as they are also able to track the location of the portal to Vigilante's mom's house. Back at House Smith, Chris explains everything to both Keith and Augie of this universe. And it's actually a really sincere moment where Chris finally reveals that he just wanted to have a family. That's why he ended up coming here. And just the performance that John Cena has been putting on. They act like wrestling isn't acting itself, but this man has been leveling up his game. But oh shit, Fitzgibbons is back as he asks to be able to search Augie's house because they're looking for Chris. Augie's like, y'all motherfuckers need a warrant. And I'm not saying my son is innocent or not, but you need that warrant. Meanwhile, Judo Master and Adebayo run into both of the Vigilantes. They have a nice funny little conversation because the last time these two people met, Judo Master beat the dog shit out of Vigilante. But they decide to work together for the time being and sneak into the house. It's at this moment when Keith is like, man, fuck this guy. He killed my brother. That we learn the biggest twist of them all. Augie was not a Nazi in this universe, even though we all thought he was. The only reason we thought he was happy is because he was in a universe where, you know, but it turns out in this beautiful speech he gives, he's just trying to do good in the world that he was born into. And you can see the look on Chris's face like, wow, this is like legit my perfect dad. Until Vigilante breaks through the window and stabs the shit out of Augie Smith, not knowing that he's a good guy. And that just fucks everything up. Not only does that fuck Chris up again, to watch his dad die again, this time he wasn't the one that killed him though, but poor Keith is now in Chris's position, losing both his brother and his dad. Of course, this causes the cops to have probable cause to walk into the fucking house. And they're like, Economist's like, bro, someone take me. I'm over here in the corner, fucking fetal position. Take me. As we get a cool little fight scene where the two Vigilantes finally get to show off an aura form. Like, look at this, back to back like a cover of Lethal Weapon. But they all back into the library where the portal is, but not before we get a moment of Keith mourning the loss of his father and getting enraged and starting attacking Chris. But that's when the 11th Street Kids and Judo Master and Vigilante 2 essentially start to catch a case, an attempted murder case of Keith. But that's when we get the scream of all screams from Peacemaker. He starts having these flashes of visions of all the people that he's killed in his life. His universe is Keith, Rick Flag Jr., his own dad, etc. He just lets out this fucking scream that you could just feel from the heart. It reminded me a lot of Chris Pratt's scream in Guardians 3. And they all immediately stop attacking him as Chris looks over his brother and is like, what the fuck is wrong with us? We're the problem. I'm the problem. But the cops pull up, so they have to leave. And everybody dips through the QUC, except for the two Vigilantes. And I got a theory that they are pulling a parent trap here. Vigilante 2 is going to the perfect universe where he's always wanted to be because of the Sons of Liberty. And Vigilante 1 gets to stay in a universe where he gets to brutally murder a bunch of Yahtzees. It just makes perfect sense. But for a second, I thought Harcourt was just putting Keith out of his misery, but she says, sorry, I can't have you chasing him. As it looks like she's about to 48 him. The cops bust in and she has to fly through the portal as Vigilante 2 closes the portal, or Vigilante 1, because my theory closes the door. And while that's happening, Vigilante's mom's house gets surrounded by Argus, as we get this nice little zoom in shot on Keith's face from the other universe, and you could just tell he's fucking fuming, he's pissed, he's gonna hold a fucking hard grudge and coming back for revenge. As Peacemaker just gives up, gives them the quantum unfolding chamber, but also does a real one thing and tells them that they all came to arrest him, so I'm the only one that should be arrested. As they cuff Peacemaker, we get a shot of him in the back of the police car just looking super depressed, and we cut to black. Oh yeah, also, the post-credit scene confirms that the Hub is now canon to the DC universe, so do with that information what you will. And like, you want to just talk about emotional damage. How much more can Chris go through? He had to watch his poor little brother die. His dad died twice, two times. Two-time death champion. And now his world is essentially crumbling again as he's going back to jail. Like, bro, that was such an action-packed episode. I forgot it was only 35 minutes long, but we just went boom, 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 boom. And that's my biggest criticism this season, man, is like, and now that we're starting to pick up steam, it feels like everything's coming crashing down. But James Gunn did say the finale is the longest of all the episodes, so I'm hoping and praying some crazy shit happens. I feel like I need that Superman cameo of Superman acknowledging Peacemaker as a hero. Can you imagine what that would do to Chris? The hero of all heroes giving you a cosign? Man, I need that more than I need air. But I can't wait for next week's episode. I'm just itching to watch it. But those are just my thoughts, theories, and opinions. Let me know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. And as always, like and follow for more.